So sorry about that for any inconvenience. Tonight, if you are coming in, just make sure you guys to drop where you coming in from. This helps us know like what's the best times to come on and share the information. And
The
I
best
want,
times to
yep,
come
there we
on.
go. Sorry about that, y'all. We are on and popping. Sometimes it's a delay, but let me know. And if you're watching this later on, please also let me know in the chat where you're coming from or in the comment section. Would be available to you. And tonight we're talking about three major changes with Trump that he made with credit scores. So we're going to go a little more in depth because there's another change that came through. So thank you, Donna. Thank you, Melanie, for dropping where you coming from. I see Atlanta, I see California, Virginia. So thank you, everyone. And I don't want to elongate this live so you can get the best information. Now, one of the biggest changes y'all need to know about, it was the BOI. So if you're not familiar with what BOI is, actually it was part of the anti-money laundering law. Now this was passed back in 2001. Now, with this law, if some of you guys that got those LLCs just laying around, you didn't do anything with, because I have one that I was thinking about kind of dissolving. Um, if you did not register an officer with that, and you just had that laying around, a lot of us do start an LLC, and you might not have even really maintained it, but if you did not register with the BOI, a name or a ownership with that, you were looking at a penalty of $500 a day, up to $10,000, and you could be looking up to 2 years in jail. Now, this was only for companies with less than 21 employees. So that's kind of harsh and problematic. And around that time, you had some things that I think we all remember with Zelle and Cash App. If you went over that $600 mark, now they were looking into actually sending you a 1099. And with that, it was pushed back. I have to see what is the final thing with that Zelle. It used to be up to 20,000 that you can send without getting that 1099 sent out to you. They did pause and delay that, I know, last year. But this BOI, a lot of people was looking to get hit up because they had kicked it back. It was supposed to be January 1st, 2024. After then, if you got a new LLC, they gave you 30 days. Then they kicked it back to saying 90 days, that if you didn't register that, then you were going to look at that $500 a day penalty, and all the way up to $10,000 and possibly 2 years in jail time. So that was kind of serious. Then they paused it, and they kicked it back in September of 2024. And now with that rule, it was only at that time they gave you January 1st, 2024, any new ones. You immediately had 30 days, then they extended it to 90 days. If you didn't comply to that, you were looking at that, those penalties. But those that were created before 2024, they were giving you to January 1st of 2025, and you would be subject to those penalties. So rolling into this year, they did push it back again, and the new date was March 21st of 2025. 25. So this month. Now, some people went on and just did that. Okay. They registered and they just put their names on that. I was one of the people, I was going to hold out. And one of the things why, because one of the benefits of if you have business credit, right? One of your benefits is if you are an officer of an LLC and it has an EIN number, you can PG or personally guarantee for that credit card, but it did not report in your name with a lot of companies. And so, with that going on, other banks, when it comes to your personal information, it would be separate. And so, imagine if you have this credit card, you're using it for your business. And if banks now see you got a $25,000 credit card and you might have multiple LLCs, like me, myself, I got more than one that does different business operations that should be kept separate, from a media. Then, I'm a landlord, something for my business there. Those are two different operations. And those are two different EIN numbers, and I have another company. That's another one. And all of them have business credit cards. But the thing where it has for you now, if your name is showing up on all of this, right? That you're registering them with the BOI. Now the banks can see, okay, this person got credit cards with this LLC and this one and this one. And now with your personal credit, they can start denying you. Because one of the things with business credit, if y'all don't know, if you go over 100,000, a lot of times they'll put like a lien on that business, especially with SBA loans. That's why a lot of people might not like to deal with that, because they'll put a UCC kind of lien on that business, letting other banks know, hey, this person got an outstanding debt. They got to satisfy. And when the banks see that, they might now that decrease how much that business can borrow. So you want to kind of keep a lot of this stuff hidden. And it should be like that, because that business is that business. It's not you. The business got its own EIN number. That's like its own social security. You're just an employee of the business, depending on the structure. You're an employee of that business. So why should your name have to be listed? And they're not doing that with big corporations with 21 employees and older. And over. Now, a lot of people will say, hey, well, because there's a lot of criminals, money laundering and this and that. But, like a lot, what they don't tell you with the IRS, they audit sole proprietorships and LLC, single member LLCs the most. They don't audit at a real high rate big corporations, because they have the money to fight. So even with that change that they were bringing in with Zelle, if we're going after big corporations, well, why the heck is you charging us? Big corporations ain't billing and all of that through Cash App. That's for and aimed at the small little business owner that's trying to get your business off the ground. And then when you have these big corporations, there's no problem for them to get funding. They can get funding, but the small operator like you and me just trying to get things going, now that's against you. And you got big corporations. Take me. I'm a landlord. You got big corporations like BlackRock and all of that they buy up real estate and rent out down in places like Atlanta, Georgia. They were buying up whole houses and actually controlling. This is why y'all saw all of your prices going up. They were buying everything, pushing out the little guy. A lot of y'all who was looking for homes, they were outbidding you to get the homes. And so we can't compete. You have small landlords that might have 10 properties, which is small. That's what actually keep housing costs low, because you don't have to go and compete and only deal with big corporations that got a lot of funds that can control the market against you. It's small businesses that keep our prices down. So the Walmarts that can buy up and push little businesses out, like your local pharmacists, and all of that. Then when they push everybody out of business that are small businesses, now they get to control all the prices in your area. So you want to watch out for that. And so I want you guys to always look at that. Look at those price controls. This was a good thing President Trump did. Okay. This actually benefited you. So I will say there's different things on both sides. And I said that even with my video where I made about the 3 changes, even with the CFPB, I tell you sometimes with a lot of regulations, it cuts out. Like a lot of fintech companies had got shut down. You look at Tumo cards, a lot of y'all that had trouble credit, those fintechs were actual options where they didn't look at your credit history. They looked at the money that you made, and you can get those cards. The Sable card got shut down. And so it does allow some of that stuff. But of course, you got the other end where you have companies that ain't acting right, that somebody need to intervene. Now, here's the thing. There's already laws in place to stop that. The CFPB really shouldn't need to enforce what the law of the Fair Credit Reporting Act already did. Half of this stuff, and that was in the 1970s, they shouldn't be doing all of this crap in the first place. But what both sides don't tell you, both sides have millionaires. Don't ever get it twisted. Red or blue, neither is for you. I'm just going, let me say it again. Red, neither blue, neither is for you, because both of them got one thing in common. Each one on each side, they go in, they can go in poor, but they all going to come out rich. Don't ever forget it. So when you get too focused on one side and look at certain things and then don't look at it another, everybody got their own agenda. Okay. Everybody. So the Democratic side, I'll tell you here today, a lot of them got a lot of BS with them. And a lot of people get all crazy. What are you talking? It's a lot of BS. Okay. It's a lot of BS. And I got a video breaking all of this down. It's a lot of BS. There's a lot of BS on the Republican side. Both sides got BS. Your thing is you need to see how these laws are really affecting you. Because if you think tons of people being dropped off in your cities is for you, baby, you jacked up. Because the only thing that you got right now, and I'm breaking this down, is your labor if you don't own assets. Don't get it twisted. So imagine you're playing Monopoly. Baby, if you starting off and all you doing is waiting till you pass go to collect a check, and you ain't buying up that light company, that railroad, you ain't buying no land, and then the build, as you go around and all of them is controlling that and you just shelling out money, you going to be out the game. I'm going to tell you right now, the name of the game, baby, you got to leverage your credit to get assets like never before. I'm going to drop a video tomorrow. It was some changes Trump did with that money. It's the story behind the story, y'all, that you got to check in on. It's some story behind the story. And I'm going to drop this video tomorrow. Pull up on that because I got some visuals for you. Everybody, I'm telling y'all right now, red or blue, neither is for you. Don't pom nobody, because everybody babies are, when they come out, they worry about them grandbabies. Hillary was worried about Chelsea children. Joe was worried about his son. Okay. Trump worried about his family. Nancy worried about her family. All of these folks ain't thinking about you like that. They're being paid, all of them, of lobbyists on both sides. And if you want to see who side they're playing on, when you talk about Democrats with green energy, there's the big funders on that side. That's why they pushing that agenda. Go look at Open Secret. When you look at Republicans and what they're pushing, oil, and there's big funders on that side to push that agenda. So you're going to keep going through this cycle. It's political theater. These people are friends, okay? They are friends. Don't let them that political theater fool you. They're friends with one another. They cool, a lot of them, with one another. A vast majority. They just playing in our face. What you got to pay attention, whoever, whatever group is in office, then you need to position yourself for the change. If you were a person, last administration, you had stocks in certain companies, green energy, even at the time that was popping, those, I don't know if we can say it anymore, the jab companies like Pfizer, Moderna. Yeah, when you saw that, yeah, I need to go ahead and invest in that. Now that stuff being rolled back. So, hey, maybe I need to invest in certain commodities. So you need to go with where the wind of change is going. Don't get too stuck in that. Okay. Red or blue, neither is for you. Everybody got their own agenda. They're all being funded. Okay. Everybody got some backers, and that's where they're going. It's the talking points that they're trying to trigger you. Understand universal health care. A lot of that stuff is very popular. Or when women have their babies, paid leave for extended periods of time is very popular with everybody. But if these corporations that's funding both sides get you stuck on these issues that's social, that stop you from asking them for the stuff that you need, like increase in your pay raise, and uh time off, leave that you need after you have your baby. Maybe I need 6 months to get it together and be paid. They don't want you to focus on those things. That's what they don't want you to pull up. So they got all these little trigger things on both sides to get everybody fighting over here. And a lot of this stuff, it's like, hey, this is just common sense. And so everybody's being passionate about it, and they feel a certain kind of way, but they're really playing in your face in the back end. It's all by design. Okay. They're playing in your face. So somebody said, I thought the BOI was stop March. Yes. And that's what I said. It was, you would have. And he stopped that part of it. Okay. So that is one of the big changes. Now that's off the table. Now it's not completely with the BOI. It is not completely gone away. It's for foreign companies. So far as you for right now, technically they can't make it go away off the books. It was passed through Congress around that 2021 period. So it was passed. So they can't totally remove it. The Supreme Court is going to see if it is right now looking to be heard, if it is constitutional for that. I really just can't see where a corporation, the reason why you have a corporation, it's its own living entity, why these requirements really need to be made, and a lot of part of a corporation is it's its own entity, and LLCs is for limited liability. You shouldn't be exposed to certain liability when you're just a employee of a company. So just at your job, if you got hired as an exec, to what extent should you be responsible for certain business decisions across the board? Now, sometimes, yes, that is that is still, if you are a CEO or whatever, people you can hold you responsible, but there's going to be certain things that if that went through, jacking up certain benefits. If y'all ever heard that in Nevada, a lot of people will incorporate in Nevada because there, in order for you to see the board members, you need a court injunction. So that was one of the moves to even protect yourself even further. But with that BOI, they're going to know, who's there. And there's different states with different protections. And this is going to override if your name was going to show. But for right now, it's only for foreign companies. Okay. So all I got to say, it's a lot less about what's going on in that White House, but what you're doing in your house. That's very important. And I'm telling you, you're going to have these winds of change. If you're a certain age, you done seen this administration come, this one go. Both sides are going to get in. And instead of being all worked up on certain things, some things you do, if it's affecting you, there are certain stands. Yes, protests, all of those things, but keep your eye on the bouncing ball. A lot of this, because a lot of this stuff they're doing to trigger people, and they're, talking points, and those red lights that they want you to focus on. Sometimes you got to focus on the other things, like, whoa, this is a distraction from other things. So you want to make sure that you do that. And somebody says, so the BOI is for foreign companies. As of right now, it's only for foreign companies that they're forced to register at this point. So those that are outside of the United States. So that has been a pause, and that has been rolled back. So that's where that stand. And now is a good time for you guys to get on that business credit side, because that was going to blow a lot for a lot of small businesses. Because like I said, if the banks see, oh, you over here and over here, now you're personal, then they're going to look at that. If you go and try to get a loan for you personally, for your family, or buying a home, how are you going to account this stuff against me? Or if they seeing that, they're going to account it against you, that you're over here. How is that even? That just don't make any sense. That's like if you're working at your job and now you are a CEO or a vice president, and now your name got to go here, and like, what the heck? Or how y'all going to hold me personally? Why my name got to go out here? And they were only doing it for companies of under 21 employees. Why wasn't that passed for every company then? That would make more sense to me, because it's some of the bigger companies that can ditch a lot of money, if you ask me. That's just my opinion. And it's a lot of bigger companies that's getting a lot of tax breaks and have all of this. Little guys, not little. I mean, little guys, okay, maybe, I guess some stuff, but a lot of that to me was a way to dump it on small people. And it's like, well, how are you going to get ahead? How are you going to get off the ground if you have a venture? If you're, you're just you say you want to get into being a contractor, or and now this is on you, like come on, how much can I do? So that's one of those massive changes, because that was going to affect really a lot of you getting business credit and actually using and leveraging those businesses so you can get access to funding, especially if you clean up your personal credit, and you can get access really, really quickly. So that's one of the biggest changes. And also for those that know about shelf corporations, that would eject that option up. And shelf corporations are not illegal. People buy businesses all the time. But what happens when that business change hand, the banks pretty much look like you're a brand new company. And so in order for you to get business loans, they want to see that you've been in business for 2 years. So you might buy a company for somebody that's been in business for 10 years. And now that that changed hands, they looking like you're a brand new company. And so you don't, that is even jacking up a lot of small businesses to have that stain on them. So that was one of the changes. Now, one of the second changes is was especially with that CFPB, that they being actually what people are saying shut down. But honestly and truthfully, they are still in office in operation. A lot of people, they have gotten results on their actual disputes. But one of the big things that happened, they did drop those lawsuits against Experian and Equifax that they were working on. So that was a big one. And so with that, those are those things with a lot of protections that was rolled back. So with the CFPB, now, having that kind of watchdog that did fight for certain things, that can be problematic. Okay. So if you have things that's going on now with your disputes, you can still hold these companies responsible. Don't think the CFPB, as far as Equifax and TransUnion, don't think because they're shut down, you can't hold them responsible. You want to dispute and then find those errors, and then you can take it to a consumer lawyer because, like I told you guys, the Fair Credit Reporting Act been in law. I have somebody in my group, his name is Rock. He was able to sue through an attorney. We went through the steps. He had a very unique situation. Somebody had some student loans that was plagiarized, and they did not want them. And the student loans was like 160,000. It was crazy. And he had proof it wasn't him. And they didn't want to let that debt go, but he didn't know who it was. It was a relative. So it was a lot, but he had to do what he had to do with this close relative. And he even got the police report, show all of that. They still did not want to remove that. So we had to put out some disputes, and you want to get it recorded. Then he took it to an attorney, and that attorney was able to sue, and he did get broken off with a check. Okay. So you don't think because they're shut down, you still can't sue folk. Okay. You still can, if that information is not 100% accurate and 100% complete, and he did not owe that debt. So he was able to go on and sue. So don't think that they're not there. You can still sue. They still got to follow the federal law. That law been in place the whole time. It's just to get them on the carpet, and you just want to set up your case the right way. And one of the because he put in a complaint with the CFPB, and nothing was done. So like I said, even with them, it wasn't like everything was being moved that should have been moved. That was clear. I'll be honest with you. It was a lot of people, and this was clearly identity theft. They ain't make them remove nothing off. And he had an open and shut case. Okay. CFPB didn't help. I'll be honest. It wasn't like they was doing it wasn't like they was upholding a lot of this stuff. So he had to get an attorney, and he did that in a part of last year, and then it was able to be removed, and then he had the proof, so, and he got himself a check, because then they're damaging your credit report, stopping him for getting loans and a lot of things, and even getting, housing all over a lie. So, like I said, you still have options, but that was one of the big changes. They did drop that lawsuit, and they are they're open, but You can still submit your complaint. A lot of people are saying they're getting responses from their complaint, but officially they are supposed to be on pause. Okay. So that's what you want to make sure. That was a big change. And when they did change the law, now prior to this in 2024, with medical collections under $500, they were not supposed to report those at least for a whole year. They had to give you a whole year for them to, and that was on all of them. Anything, even over that $500, they were supposed to give you a whole year before that can show up on your credit report. But if you got a collection and it was under $500, that if you paid it, it was supposed to be removed if you paid that. So that did help relieve some of that off of people credit report. But this year in January, when Biden was leaving office, January 7th, they did pass that law where now no medical should be reporting any medical collections on your credit report. But here's the caveat: that law have to sit for 60 days. 60 days. It has to be before it is really set. So that's at the beginning of April. It can be possibly rolled back. So I felt like they should have did that towards, if they would have did it in November, it would have been actually awesome. So when this new administration came in, they couldn't roll it back because it has to be set for 60 days, but they can bring it through Congress to see if they want to overturn it. So we're a couple of days out. That should be at the beginning of April. If they do not remove it, then it will be set in. Okay, so that's one of the things that it can possibly be rolled back. So just look out for that. And also that lawsuit that they had against Experian and Equifax, they did roll that back with the CFPB. So that was a big one. But like I said, if you have that where you got something reporting that isn't yours, you got to dispute it. That's part of it, because if they're not investigating, you dispute it, let them come back and say that it's verified. I would dispute at least 3 times to get that they're saying that it's verified, and then you could just go on and take it to an attorney. That's what you want to do. So that's one of the things that you want to look at. So that was another big change. And one of the third ones was, you had, when you were buying a home, and normally they're going to look at 3 of your credit scores, all 3, and they will look at your mid score. So that's your middle score. If you have TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, if TransUnion is a 650, Experian is a 680, and Equifax is a 670, then they're going to take the 670. That would be your middle score to qualify you for a home. And they were using the older versions of FICO, Experian, like Beacon scores, like Model 5 and 2. And the reason why they use some of those older models, back when they passed this in Congress, some ages ago, that's what was approved by the government, especially for those, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae kind of those kind of loans, FHA loans. So that's why they kind of stuck with that model. But they had also looked now for more home buying back prior to this administration. The Biden administration and all of them was looking now to use your Vantage 4.0 score. So your Vantage score, which a lot of y'all, when you check Credit Karma, your Vantage scores are higher. So they were going to use the Vantage score and the FICO 10T for your FICO scores. So they were going to use two of those, those two credit scores, the FICO 10T score, which is the updated model, and they were going to use also the Vantage 4.0, which will qualify. They felt more people. But here's the problem with that. That was a double-edged sword, because with the FICO 10T, that's for trending data, which kind of sucks. And the reason why that sucks, it's looking at your data and your balance carried for 2 years back, 24 months. So take example, if right now y'all been carrying balances on your credit cards, right? You got to say a $20,000 credit card and you got in a bind. You've been paying it on time, but you got $11,000 worth of debt on that card and maybe some other cards. So before you bought this home, you got your house in order and you've been carrying it for a while, but maybe you got a lawsuit in and something, and you were able to pay these cards off, right? What they'll do is look at now the last 24 months, the trending data. Now that data might have been sitting there, that balance kind of been consistent for the last 10 years because you really didn't have the money to pay it all the way off, but you've been paying them monthly on time. I never missed a payment, and your credit score might be very high. I'm talking about like still 740, 750. Your credit score might have been good the whole time, but now with that trending data, they looking at the last 24 months. And so you might get denied or qualify for less, and you would be bewildered, like, yo, my credit been good. I don't know what they're talking about. That trending data is going to catch it, even though if they're using that FICO score. Now, the older model, the way it worked, soon as you pay that balance off of those, revolving credit cards, they don't consider that anymore. So if you just paid it down and you don't have that debt, your score could go up. Because I seen a person recently had a 580 credit score, and they was just carrying a lot of credit card debt. And I'm like, you don't really even got a problem. Your problem is your balances. They paid down them balances. That person was at an 829 credit score, and they've been carrying those balances for years like that. So a person like that, you might get denied. Okay. And the whole time, but they've been paying on time, the minimum balances. They didn't shut down their cards, nothing like that. They've been, paying. And all they had to do is pay down the utilization. And now they're at an 829 because they've been having, good credit for years, technically, because they paid on time. It was just their utilization. So you can change your utilization in 1 month and your score go up. But with the old model, you good to go. You Gucci, but the new model, you ain't gonna be Gucci. But it looked like when you examine it, like, oh, this is good. Because most people say my, FICO scores, my Vantage scores is high. If you was carrying some balances, it wasn't, they're not telling you that part on how it worked. So now they canceled that out. So it's not going to work with that FICO 10T. And now with that Vantage score, it's going to continually go on with the older model. And some people will say, hey, that could be bad. If you ask me, that's actually good. I'll be honest with you. To me, if I had to take one of the two, I would take the old system, because what I'm telling you, you could just pay down that balance. You good to go. They're not looking back. So a lot of people, even if you have missed payments, what a lot of people don't understand with those old FICO scoring models, say like with Vantage score, if you missed a mortgage payment on your home, they hold those points against you way harder for a good minute. The older FICO models, if you miss a payment, after 3 months, you're going to see your score going up. And in like 6 months, if you missed a payment, you'll be back in the 700s like nothing happened. Because the longer a negative item sit, the less it affects you. You those older models, if you got a collection, long as it's not dinging you every month, the longer it sit, the less it affects you. And you'll be right back up there long as nothing new happened. So those are the two variations. So if y'all don't understand about scoring models, just imagine like your iPhone or, Windows, how they got Windows 10, Windows 12, iPhone, ISO, 17. I don't know where they at with all of these updates, 11. That's the same thing with Vantage scores and also with FICO. Those are the updates that they do. And just like those softwares, they update and doing different things, they're looking for different things. And like the FICO score 9, a lot of y'all with Navy Federal, why we say Navy Federal is much easier to work with, they use a FICO score 9. A lot of times with FICO score 9, they don't care. None of your medical bills was showing up on that anyway. Like no medical collections, it was not reading that. Only consumer collections. So that's why you can get more approvals through a FICO 9, because anybody that got, trouble credit and it's from those medical bills, it don't take that in account, but FICO 8 do. And most credit card companies, in the most used scoring model, you guys, that's going to be used, for cars, credit cards, and a lot of things, it's going to be that FICO 8. That's the most widely used, except for mortgages. It's the ones that I was just mentioning, those older scoring models. And like I said, now it's a little more easier, I will say, to move with the older than that trending data, especially when a lot of people, inflation been really high, and a lot of people been carrying balances on their credit cards because you just wasn't making the cash flow in order to survive with high food, rent. And a lot of people right now have a lot of high utilization. Okay. So because their cash flow wasn't there. So that would tax you. So it might seem like, oh, more people could qualify for houses. No, you wouldn't. And the reason why they did that FICO 10T, if you want a backstory with that trending data, back in 2006, that 2008, what they found out with a lot of those foreclosed homes, when it was that whole housing crisis, a lot of those people had very good credit. Okay, they had good credit scores, but what they said, it was a lot of these people had a lot of debt or utilization. So this is why now they want to use that as an indicator of a person defaulting now in the system. So this is why they're adding that. But we still look at inflation, home prices is still high. And so if you're doing that trending data, even if you've been paying it down, they want to see your debt going down. If you wasn't that person with your debt going down, if you qualify for a home, you might qualify, but you're going to qualify for less. So $100,000 less, depending on your market and where you live, like a New York City, a New Jersey, that's kicking you out of the game. Okay. A California, $100,000 less, that's kicking you in your gut. You can't qualify for something. So those are the little things that, you might need to know about on these changes. And also now a lot of those third parties, just like for fourth, if you Affirm and all of these tech things that you haven't, buy here, pay here, a lot of them, if they're not reporting, are looking to report on your credit report, which really sucks, because that was one of those ghost accounts that you guys have. That in itself is a decision that they just chose to make. Now, that's even good or bad, because some people who have those accounts been paying on time. And so they're saying, hey, that's actually good because it can help a lot of credit scores. So Yes, if that person been paying on time, that's actually good. But the bad part, if you wasn't paying on time and now that's going to show up on your credit report, now you got more missed payments, or you can qualify for less because now they got know you got this loan out here. And so if you're going for a loan or a home loan, now this is showing up as another monthly debt obligation and you qualify for less. So even with that, that's it can be positive or negative depending on what end that you stand on. So that's why I said with all of this stuff, all you can do is get this information and tailor your life to it. If these things, if that I name, you like, dang, that's going to jack me up, then you know I'm a person that's carrying some credit card debt right now. You know, then them doing that with the FICO 10T and not doing that, that's good for you. I ain't going front. If you've been carrying it for a long time, actually that's better for you. Now, if you're a person that like, hey, I ain't got that problem, I want them Vantage to see, then that's not good for you. That's not good for you. So it just depends on a lot of sides on where you stand. Even with some of these regulations being rolled back, small businesses, that's very good for you. Or if you're a person that's looking to go out in business, that BOI, I can't see where it was good for nobody, to be honest. So I don't see a negative for small businesses. I don't see a negative there. So that can be your opportunity yourself to take advantage where you don't have this utilization showing up on your personal side. That can be a positive. I will say, I don't know if people know, Chase normally did not report the business inks to your personal side, but it has been some of them been reporting. Now, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. It's been on a lot of Reddit groups, and I got to admit, they reported one of mine. So I'm going to call them, and somebody in the group, they reported theirs to their personal credit report. That's not supposed to what's going down. Now, they did not report all of mine. That needs not to happen. That needs not to happen. So I got to get with Chase to find out. Now, some people are saying it's a glitch that and this have happened before. So and they should be correcting it. I'm going to find out for sure, or is it some of these that is triggering with with balances. Now, thank God for Jesus, this particular card, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I am carrying a balance on that, but it's not a real high credit limit card. I can rectify that. It's not a problem. I could rectify that. But if your other business people, if y'all have those Chase Business Inc., Lord, go check on your credit report and watch out for them. Okay, go and watch out for that. Go and check if you under the sound of my voice to see if Chase is reporting. Diamond, I had to tell her, go and check on her Chase Inc. That's the business Inc. that they are reporting on folks' credit reports. So my one particular, I have this one in my name, but it is not under my social security number. Okay. So it's a business credit card that's not under my social security number. And they sure did pop up. So I got to go and find out. It's not the end of the world, but they did. It's like I had a new credit card account and I'm carrying a nice little balance over there because I've been tucking. And it didn't break me, but it did like, hey, what's going on here? A point, a nice little like 10 points. I said, hey, what's going on? And they said, you got a new credit line. Now, I was confused because I did get a new personal credit card. I did get another. So I thought it was that. But when this person in my group bought this up, I was like, hold on, let me go and look at that. And unbeknownst to me, it was this business credit card. And I have a lot of Chase credit card. Like even on the personal side, I got a couple of Chase credit cards. And then I said, hold on. Hey, it is on here. And so that one is on there. But this is the lowest one of our lowest limit is not even, it's like $4,000. It's not that limit on that one. And I got other ones that's way bigger. And let me tell you, child, don't report those. Lord, don't report them. Matter of fact, I'm about to bring them all down so these folks don't know. I got to find out why y'all reporting this so I know I can actually act accordingly, because I don't want them to show up, the bigger ones to show up on the credit report. So if I got to bring them down, I would just do what I need to do. So I'm just warning y'all to look out. Now, this one wasn't under my particular LLC, so that could be what it is. But the person in my group saying theirs under the LLC is reporting. So all those that have those Chase Inks, go check that out and see if it's reporting. And it has been reports that people call customer service and they said they will be reversing that. But I got to find out for myself. Okay. And so if y'all need an update on that, I will be updating that. So if we have any questions, drop it down in the comment section. Diamond, are you here? I don't know if you're here. If so, okay, I'm going to bring you up so we can do the questions. You are here. Here we go. Hey, Dee.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I know my computer is a little greasy. How y'all doing? If you guys have any questions in regards to credit,
you're shining like RuPaul.
Oh, I'm in the bathroom.
Oh no! I'm like, oh my god!
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it.
RuPaul every time, like RuPaul drag, it be like having that light like that. Yo, that's probably going on. Yeah, all right, but you go ahead.
If anyone has any questions in regards to your credit reports, I know I did see someone ask a question about charge-offs. Give me 1 second. I'm
let's
looking to find. I believe someone.
Oh, I see it. Can a charge-off ding me?
Okay, yeah.
Every month. Now with the charge-off, technically, a charge-off. Yeah, a charge-off. I'm thinking collection. A charge-off, that's the ruling is out on that. But the way you do dispute that, because with the courts, it's been a gray area. Now, collections, they are not supposed to ding you. But with the charge-off, if it's charged off and there's no more expected payment for that each month, like the monthly payment that's due because it's charged off, why is it dinging me every month? So you can dispute it on that end. But one of the things with charge off, Ty, because Ty, what you want to do is remove those old addresses for that charge off to try to get it moved. So yes, they should not be dinging you every month, but is it technical? And Miss Miller, I don't know if you mind, Ty is in my group. She had a good testimonial. I think I need to touch on. Ty, if you don't mind, I don't want to put it out. I just want you, if you can, Ty, let me know if I can tell this story, because I think people need to know or be on the alert. But she said, yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, Ty. Thank you. You guys, Ty Advantage is her student loan servicer, and she removed a number of items. It was like some 2 steps forward, 2 step back. Out of nowhere, they hit her with late payments for her student loans. And y'all know, when you have student loans, Diamond, you experienced this, you'll have a couple of student loans. They hit her like with 24 90-day late payments because she had a number of student loans that dropped her credit score. And come to find out, they did not have her address right. And that's what happened out of the blue, 90 days late. So student loan companies like Navient was taken out for that. A student loan company should not just be out of the blue, 90 days late. You have to be 30, 60, then 90, Because say if you're late and they hit you with the 30, you would know, and then you can go on adjust it. But they did not, they had her wrong mailing information, and she was able to kick up dust, and they did reverse that for her. Okay, so one thing that she did, she made sure when she called in, she got the rep's name. Now, sometimes they ain't going to give you their full name, but if they have a badge number, please write that down. That's what she did. The first one didn't do what they were supposed to do, so she had to call back another day. And the second particular one did follow through, and she saw the changes in the system as they were making the changes, reversing those late payments, and they're not going to show up until it updates, because y'all know credit reports updates in 30-day cycles, but then she will see the correction. So hopefully that helps someone. She also said that Advantage did have an application to consolidate, and this is not pulling your credit scores to do that. And it might be a good idea, y'all, to consolidate those loans, because a lot of you already had that experience. Those student loans will be separate loans, but you miss one payment, it's like they're all due on one day, and that could put a ton of hard missed payments on your credit report, kind of messing you up. So hopefully that can help somebody with that information. But look at your student loans. If they are just out the blue, 90 days late, 60 days late, it should not be operating like that. So hopefully that'll help someone. Somebody said that just happened to them recently. So yes, look into that. Please look into that and see if you can do that and take those steps. I also say write down the name of the write down the name of the supervisor. Also write down the name of the supervisor and get their their ID number. And you want to dispute those. So like I said, if they keep reporting something that is inaccurate, you want to get that you are disputing it. So just like the other gentleman was able to go to the attorney, you can if it's not true, you can have a case for damages in that way. So hopefully that's helpful. Diamond, you have anything?
Well, someone had another question about hard inquiries, and they wanted to know how to get hard inquiries removed off their credit report. But I'm also going to drop down our free hard inquiry removal letter.
Okay, and you can download that. And when it comes down to hard inquiries, they have to have what's called permissible purpose. And so you have to give them permission. So you can dispute that. You want to send in dispute letters for that also. You can, we have our package, but make sure, that's not me. If it's hard inquiries now, y'all, actually connected to open accounts, you don't want to dispute that, because if you say it's not yours, they can close down that account. But that's how you will say, hey, I didn't get permission for that. I don't know this. And then that's the angle that you can remove those. Those are the most easiest pretty much to get off your credit report.
Now, this one wasn't exactly a question, but someone said, I have proof that a creditor reversed 2 late payments and the credit bureaus refused to update my account. I have factual proof. I may need to pursue a lawyer.
Okay, what I can do, Rock did send me the information of that attorney, and I might have some other, I have another attorney that I can refer you to. You can just, Diamond drop the email. If you go to our website and submit that, then I can get the information. But the attorney the one I talked to, they definitely want to make sure you followed the steps. And if you need to send it certified mail with return signature. Make sure you did that due diligence. And also the creditor, if you got that letter, that would be really good. But make sure you sent that to them certified. And I'm talking about the bureaus. All right. So definitely contact me and I can give you that information.
Okay, yes. And I believe that is the last question that we had for the night. So if you guys, as we're closing out, if you have any questions, please do. So someone said, how accurate is Credit Karma?
Well, at Credit Karma, the difference is from Experian and Equifax is two different scoring models. Some lenders do use Credit Karma to qualify you, but the thing is, vast majority will use FICO. So if you see something negative pop up on your Credit Karma reports, that negative is true. Okay. A lot of times something is reporting. Now, sometimes I did see with like Credit Karma, I did have something with a mortgage thing and it was not true. But it might have been a glitch. Okay. It might have been a glitch on their side, but a lot of times it's going to be, or those Vantage scores from your credit card companies like Capital One, Wise Credit that they have or whatever, that tends to be a Vantage score. But it's the way that they rate the points could be different. That's why your scores is different. So, like I mentioned earlier, mortgage, missed payments, Vantage is going to penalize you more versus FICO. So it all just depends. They're just two different scoring models. That's how it works.
We have another question from Kimberly. She asks, how do you remove collections from a charge-off?
Collections from it. Okay, so it depends on too how it report. So if it's a charge off account and now it's a collection, one thing you want to look at, that charge off, that balance should be zero. If you have a balance of $5,000 on that charge off as a balance and you have a $5,000 collection, that is double dipping. They should not be able to do that. So you want to dispute it, and you can dispute both. You want to find the errors in that reporting, and Diamond dropped the link to the elite credit system, because what you want to do with that is number one, you want to get rid of those old addresses. I'm telling y'all, that's key. And any name variations, you definitely got to get rid of those old addresses, because that's what keep that stuff seeded to you. Just like my name is Sherry Beckley. There's a ton of Sherry Beckleys in this world and in the state I live in. And how they separate me from the other Sherry Beckley is the addresses I lived at. And if you lived at a separate address where you moved and opened that account, that's how they're keeping that seated. So that's one. And then you always have to dispute those items. You got to find the errors in the reporting. In order to remove it, it got to be 100% accurate and 100% complete. So that's how you would do that.
And we have a question for James and for anybody else that is new here. Can you please explain how the elite credit system works and what they can do with it, and a little bit about the dispute process?
Okay. Another person online was talking about smart credit are similar to each other. Another was talking about smart. Well, with smart credit, with the elite credit system, that's our AI software that actually find the errors for you and create the dispute letters. So it'll find when your particular credit reports import in, it'll find the errors, and you can create your own personalized dispute letters. Smart Credit is the score provider for us. That's what it is. And then you could use the tools over there. So it's like if Experian was our score provider, that's where we got to get the credit reports from, to know the negative items that's on your credit report. So that we use Smart Credit, and that's how we get the negatives in order for you to create those disputes. So that's what it does. It finds the errors in your particular reporting to help have a factual dispute to get those items off.
Nono wants to know, what can I do about credit cards not reporting payments even after it's been over a month?
I'll use it. Yeah, I'll use it. A lot of time if it's a new credit card, throw something on it, they'll report it. They be reporting it quick, fast, in a hurry.
Kicking it with K asks, my Credit Karma scores are much higher than my Experian. 730 score with Karma and 680 with Experian. Why such the drastic numbers?
Like I just mentioned, they have different scoring models. So, on how they grade points. So, like I use um with mortgage, with a Credit Karma, if you missed a mortgage payment, they might take away 10 points, where FICO might take away 5. You know what I'm saying? For each miss more. So there's different scoring. These are totally different models. And also, this is why also Experian and Equifax are not the same. They are separate companies. They do grade slightly different. So you will never, I have never seen somebody that had the same score across the board. So what you want to learn, what scoring model do the bank I'm applying with use, and where do they pull from? So if you want to get deeper into getting better approvals, that's what your game is. And this is why the coaching help a lot of y'all people. Because if I'm sitting down and we having a group and you need to get things, I can point you in the right direction. For instance, a lot of people are under maybe just a misconception that everything just fall off at once. If you have a number of negative items and you have one collection or one charge off, it is reporting 3 times. And you might dispute and Equifax fall off, but you still got it on Experian. And we have seen people that come, one person in particular that was there today, their Equifax came off clean real quick, that they were in the 700s over here and they were down close to like 620 or in 605 over here. So he even got business credit real quick. He was able to go to Equifax and use the banks over here because his credit score was in the high 700s. So when he went and got his first card, Truist pull exclusively from Equifax. So I told him immediately, go over here. And this is where, while we're working on the rest. So what you want to do is understand different banks have different underwriting rules. Newsflash for all of y'all. If you really not into that, I want to really learn, you're going to have a tough time. I don't care if you got good credit. Chase is a prime example. You can have an 850 credit score. Chase don't care. If you got more than one or more than 5 new credit card accounts in the last 2 years, it's a no. Okay, because that's underwriting rules. So it's levels to things. You want to find out, number one, what is my current credit scores? Which one is the highest? And what bank is going to exclusively pull from over here? Capital One is going to pull from all 3. So if you got a 600, like in his case for TransUnion at that time, and Experian is 620, but Equifax is up in the 700s. It don't help you going to Capital One as your best option. They're going to pull all 3. You want to go to the bank that's going to exclusively pull from your strongest score. And those underwriting rules resemble your credit report. That's the way you play the game. That's how it always works. So don't think I'm just going to have a high credit score and I'll just get approved for anything. You'll get a better chance, but there's still underwriting rules. There's still underwriting rules. Another one, and I won't make it long. A lot of y'all believe before I could buy a house, I need to get 800 credit score. No, you want to really focus on your income. You can actually get a home with a 620 credit score through FHA. But the mass problem is with a lot of people, yeah, you might pay a little higher interest rate, but control the home, the asset. You can refinance that at the right time. You can refinance. Once you get the home, you get the deed, unlike a car. A home, people say the bank own my home. No, it don't. The bank have a lien against your home. They don't own your home. Your car company own that car if you don't have the title. Soon as you close on that house, you get the deed. So that's why it's so hard for you to get a home. That's why they look into every nook and cranny. They know once they give this to it, it's yours. That's why you can refinance. But the problem is with most people, they don't have the cash flow to qualify or don't make the income, or they don't have the down payment. That's and the closing costs. So that's where people got the game messed up. They need to put down, they have to have that down payment. So my first home, I had to bring to the closing table over like $12,000 a check. Even though my down payment with FHA was 3.5%, with $6,000, I still had to have the closing costs, PMI, and all this other stuff that come into play that they want to see you can afford that home. So you don't have to get your credit to be pristine, but certain banks have different underwriting rules, even with that. Like you might not can go to a Wells Fargo because they're a little triggered what happened to them back in the day with those mortgages and walk up there with that 620. Their underwriting rules might say, even with FHA, we are only going to take 700. So please, y'all, number one, know what your objective is. Okay. Banks need you more than you need them. Don't get it twisted. If they're not lending, they ain't gonna be in business. A lot of y'all real problem, you don't know the rules. So you got like a 600 credit score, tiptoeing over the chase, or I'm gonna go to American Express. Baby, don't go over there with them folk. They are not gonna accept you. That's not their market. You see what I'm saying? It's like me going to look for a Lamborghini minivan. They don't specialize in that. They're a luxury car and they're a sports car. So who's wrong when they say we ain't got nothing for you? Discrimination. You know what? That ain't what it is. Baby, you just looking in the wrong spot for what you want. There is subprime credit cards that and banks need that. They're looking for people. They love subprime. Honestly, that's all they want to really work with because they could charge you high interest, only give you a little $300 credit card, and charge you about 40% interest, slap whatever, and make you get them $150 annual fee. They love that. So this is why the bureaus don't want to remove this stuff from your credit reports, because you know what? The secret is they get paid more for your profiles when you got bad credit. Do you know the banks buy that from them? They want you with bad credit because now they can justify giving you nothing and charge you a lot of interest. And the banks, that's how they make money, off of interest. So yeah, they love that. They hate people with good credit because now they can't justify charging you high interest rates and there's a lot more competition. So just understand what your number one, what is your goal? And then you just got to know which bank that you can go with to get that agenda met. So go from that standpoint.
And we have a question from electronics shoppers that asks, how do you remove old addresses?
You can just dispute them. So just like how you would dispute anything else, just add your utility bill and you can add your utility bill and your current new address. And that's what you would do. And if you have moved, I will up it a little bit. Make sure you forward. The post office reports that. That's why if y'all ever forward your mail or whatever, they'll update the credit bureaus. So I will use that and then dispute it.
Now, Live in Riches said, if a mortgage company sells the note and 3 years of payments are not showing because it says paid, do I still owe it? And then it says Click and Close now is reporting that I owe, so I'm paying them.
Okay, a mortgage company sells the note and 3 years of payments are not showing because it says paid. Oh, so now they're reporting a whole nother, do I still owe them? And Click and Close is now reporting that I owe them. So did you pay off the note or did you get a loan? I need to know more details off of that because I don't understand. If they're saying paid, it could be because did you totally pay off that mortgage company or did they just sell the note and you really didn't pay it off? They just sold it to another company. Yeah, if you can, because one of the things about mortgage notes, that ain't regular. A lot of y'all signed your life away. So you're going to have a review of those closing documents that you might should have. But if you didn't just pay your house off and they sold that note, a lot of times that's what you signed to for them to sell the note. If you're saying, oh, they sold my note and it's saying paid, you know, this company is saying paid, and that's because that account they sold it to somebody else, don't mean that you still don't owe it. Yeah, mortgages is a little more deeper. Did we answer Kay above there? Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry. It
Yeah.
said, how do I, okay, I'm sorry about that. Hi, how can I use your system to work on my family's credit, or do I need all different accounts for them?
If for their individual points, yeah, they would need their own accounts. Yeah, because you can import their credit scores to create the letters. They'll have to have their own account in order to do that.
Yes, I wanted to offer maybe a solution if they wanted to get the DIY bundle letters, but
That's a good idea.
that would mean that you would be you wouldn't have, I guess, the same support when it comes to the group coaching. But if you wanted to just purchase the letters and then you guys could copy paste, print them all out for your family, and then go take them off and do that. And I'll leave the link for that for you in just a moment.
And that's an excellent idea for anybody else that want to work on multiple. Yes, you can get the DIY bundle and just send out those letters.
Now we have a question from James. I'm waiting for a response for a collection agency for a deletion letter that I sent to the debt collectors. How long do I wait before I send another letter?
If you sent a debt validation letter, I'm waiting for a response from a collection aid for a deletion letter. So did you make a deal and they said they're going to delete it? Or did you send a debt validation letter? And how long to wait? All of them get 30 days to respond. So you want to send everything certified mail because the 30-day time starts when they receive it, not when you send it. So if I send it on the 1st of April, I can't say by the 3rd or the 30th that they should have responded back. They have to get it to when they received it. So if they didn't get it until the 4th, then they have until May 3rd. So that they always give 30 days. They get 30 days.
He said debt validation letter and he sent it certified.
Yeah, they get 30 days from the day they received it. So go to the U.S. Post Office website and plug that in, and you can see the day they received it.
This isn't a question, but a comment. With Trump's decision to dismantle the Department of Education, public service loan forgiveness, or IDRs, defaults are expected to be higher than ever, and credit scores will take a major hit as well. Not sure if you had anything to add to that or to respond to that.
I guess that's what it's going to be. You gotta pay it. You're gonna have to pay it or pay it off. I'm not sure how that's gonna happen with the Department of Education. And I'll have to look into that. I do know. I think some of the loan forgiveness, those that got those loan forgiveness, didn't some people already it went through, or are people still waiting for their loan forgiveness? If anybody can hit that in a comment, let me know. Because with the Department of Education, I had somebody in the group today, they were saying they had an artistic child and they thought that would. Somebody said, so both, some still are going through or no? Like, so do, no? Public service is, and is the public service loan forgiveness for service people? No? Or yes? Anybody know? Like, because it was some forgiveness programs for teachers. I know in certain industries and nurses. Is it that particular one?
She said yes.
Okay, I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that if that's going to be overturned or stand. I don't know if that's coming from the Department of Education itself, or what happens. I'll have to look, like, for some of those rehabilitation programs and debt forgiveness, if will it go away with those loan servicers with the Department of Education. I'll be honest, I'm not really quite sure. So I have to find out. I will be on that to find out the whole truth of the matter.
Okay, and we have a question from James that said, Experian told me that they can't remove addresses. Is that true? They tell me that my old addresses can't be removed.
I'll tell them it's not mine. Don't admit that it's my old address. It's not my address. Yeah, so it can't be removed if you say it's your old address. But if it ain't my address, then it can be removed. It's not mine. So that's what it's the way you disputing it.
It looks like that was all the questions. If we missed anything, guys, please just let me know. And also, I'm going to give you the email so that you guys can reach out to us as well. Mom, do you have anything else you wanted to close with?
Also, with those old addresses, y'all, you want to also make sure that you don't have your mail still going with Chase, Wells Fargo, those big companies. You want to change your addresses there too, because they report that to the credit bureaus. So you want to change all of that and go with "it's not me," because that's how the credit bureaus is getting most of their information, is from the big banks, the Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank. So you want to do that, okay?
And we do have one more question from Jojo. Disputing with the disability company for 5 months. I now have closed accounts and bad credit. How do I repair this to buy a home?
A disability company. Can you tell me what type of company? Did they pay for you or give you a loan for that? I'm not quite sure how the disability company work, like what kind of debt is it technically. But if you have any things that you want to find errors in the reporting, even if it's a true account, if it's not reporting accurately, they still got to remove it. If it is not, the balances is not accurate, dates open, you want to find any errors in that account and dispute it on that standpoint. But if you give me a little more details, either now or later, then I can maybe direct it more to what kind of account that is.
And then Champ Beats asks, can I dispute addresses as not mine with Smart Credit? But I believe he means with the Elite Credit System.
Yes, you can.
And if you guys want, there is a tutorial video to how you actually do your disputes on the Elite Credit System. And I think that visual may help you understand the process. But along with that, you do get the group coaching every Saturday, 2 p.m.
Yes.
To ask your questions, just like we're doing here, but more face-to-face on Zoom. So
And I'm going through your accounts. So if y'all are a part of the elite credit system and you're not pulling up to the Zoom meeting so I can get the details to give you more information to for your direct, you're wasting a big part of your benefit. That's what I'm saying. I would say you don't want to actually, if you're part of the elite credit system, why are you here asking questions? Not, you know what I'm saying? You need to use the advantage so I can look at your situation and get the details. And if I can get more details and see what's going on, it might be an easier way that we could shortcut to get certain things removed. So that's all I'm just saying. If you come to the groups and you ask a question here, that's fine. But I'm saying if you're a person that like you part of the system, email me or something, then I can look into your own situation. Make sure you use that benefit because me, I can actually see what's going on with you. So don't waste that for, don't waste that for yourself if you're already paying for it. And I seen somebody say, can a bankruptcy be removed? Yes, bankruptcies is people that have had bankruptcies removed. So yes, it can be removed. You just got to attack it the right way. It's just like everything else. You want to dispute the errors, but that bankruptcy, it is very important getting that old address off, especially where you filed for that bankruptcy. So yes, you can.
I see JoJo did update. I was on disability and they stopped paying me and I lost my income.
Disability stopped paying you? And they're the ones that have the collection against you that you owe. Jojo, if you can email me so I can get the details, because that I don't know how that would be a collection. If I don't know when we say in disability, I don't know if it's from a job disability, like I used to have John Hancock, or are we talking about state disability? I would need really more clarity so I can understand on because I'm not grasping on what that disability company would be. I'll be honest to give you the best approach to handle it. All right, everyone, we're going to close out. Thank you so much for all your help. Jewel will be glad to have you. We meet every Saturday. And so I can look personally into your information. Anybody that are part of our group, Miss Miller always joined me tonight. But one thing I can say about Miss Miller, she is always in the group. She's plugged into the emails. All of y'all, just make sure, please, if you're part of the elite credit system, show up or let me look into your situation. At least if I can look into your situation, because it might be some things that I'm seeing. It's our meetings is always 1 p.m. Central Time. If you can't make it, let me know what your question is, and then I can go and look into your specific information. And the reason why it helps, because say like people who are not a part, they're just giving me general, questions, and I can give them general answers. But sometimes if I have more detail, like the gentleman Rock, and he gave me more detail and he couldn't get far with getting that stuff off, then I can get more data from you, like real time. And it might be little loopholes there to attack things. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm asking you, so you don't have a dead end. I want to make sure if you're part of the group, you're making headway. I don't want you to be paying for stuff and not really seeing a benefit from it. And what I'm saying, like getting these things off, okay? And just always think you don't have to come to every meeting, but if you, before you send your disputes out, tap in with me, and you might not have to come back to the next 30 days until something happened. But let's just make sure, don't just keep, wasting your money, and people get frustrated. It's like, wow, if you would have just seen us a couple weeks, could have been handled. So that's all I'm just saying. And that happens all the time. If you signed up and you ain't never come, please come, because if you a new person to the group, I go through all your stuff personally and tell you your exact issue. And you could be a surprise. It could be a mixed bag. It's some people they ain't, they pulled up, they ain't really have an issue but utilization. And so we work out a plan on how you need to pay your credit cards. Because some of y'all, and we'll look at it like, you supposed, it was a particular person, I think I said it earlier, they had a 580 credit score. There, it was their credit cards. They paid that off. It was they had an 829 credit score. So some of y'all might have good credit, you just don't know it. You just got to do some readjusting. It could be some of the weirdest little things that's holding you up. And I don't want you to get discouraged, especially if y'all got high utilization. Please, please, please don't get discouraged and start missing payments. Because if we could have just adjusted, like some of your credit cards, just for instance, they're not all due on 1 week or 1 day. So we can set up a payment schedule to guide you. So this one is due in the first week. Put this much money on this one, bring it down. Now the next one, bring it down. It might be from the on the 10th. And then you'll start seeing your score go up week by week. I don't know if y'all know that. You can see your score go up week by week if you got high utilization. We'll just show you where to put, like, and I tell people, listen, in that, like I said, that first meeting, give you a plan. Your real problem is this card. This one, we know you got to make the minimum. It's okay. Save your money for this one towards the end at this date. Make sure you pay it. Don't use this card until 4 days later. Then you should see this much of increase in your credit score, so we can go through it to give you your own plan. So I'll land there. I hope that give people more insight, because I think a lot of people don't know you might actually got good credit. It's just certain things. And when we go through the group, it'll be people like, yo, I never knew that. I really wish I would have known that. And they gave up hope. And now they got, charge-offs that they shouldn't. Some people behind in their credit. We had one particular person behind, like their score, I didn't say it out loud, it looked real low. It's because this one credit card, and they was like, I think I should let it go. No, save that. Because then, and so they just need to save it. So everything shouldn't be let go sometimes, y'all, neither. If you got long credit history, hey, let's see if we can get that card back, even if it's going to ding you for 2 months just to pick up that payment. Don't pay attention to this number. It's going to go up if we can stop this from reporting. But you just need that guidance to know what you're looking at with your situation. So that's what it's about. So thank y'all for joining me. And even if you're not a part, you can glean up some tips. But I will tell you, time is money and money is time. I mean, I would try to get my credit score in order. And sometimes, even though y'all not doing nothing with your credit, like you wait to the last minute. Like, why wait to the last minute? You want to have your credit ready and be ready. Not, I got so many people. I got 30 days to close on this house. Baby, don't, like, and one man, remember the man, Diamond, that started calling me? He wasn't even part of my group. Lord, this man called me the day he had to go to court. I said, what? The day he had to go to court, I need your help. I gotta go to court today. They suing me. You couldn't shoot me an email when you got the suit? Baby, you just gotta call on the name of the Lord. Call on Jesus. He'll be a lawyer in the courtroom because I can't help you. Like, what? And I'm like, you've had all this wherefore. I don't know how this person got my personal number. If you could search me out like that, you could have searched out a resolution, or you could have searched me out before the day right now you're going to court. So this is why I don't understand. And then people feel a certain kind of way and was left me, you can't answer the call. Heck to the no, I can't. Because you ain't my husband. Why the heck would I answer? I don't even know you, sir. For real, to have that unreal expectation out of a person. So all I'm just saying, help me help you. Give me some kind of time so we can figure out a cure to your problem. But you can't get mad at me if you ain't handling your business. Because I truly believe I ain't going to never be more pressed about your situation than you are. Okay. That won't make no sense. Okay. So just please, in all that getting, get some understanding and get your credit. You'll do much better if you give me some time. You'll be much happier if you have some time. Okay, we got more options. Okay, and somebody say, yeah, you can't answer the call. Yeah, they like you can't. They up in the courtroom too, calling me. I said, Diamond, this person kept calling me, calling me. And I'm like, you should have called the attorney. And the way you calling me, at least the attorney could get a kickback, baby. I don't. But that's how people will do once things get desperate. But don't let things get desperate. You could have called me when it was a charge off, or call me when you start missing payments or something like that. Get ahead of these situations. That's all I'm saying. So no shade. I'm just, sometimes people don't know, or it don't dawn on them because nobody told them. And so my nephew Trey, I'll use this as an example. We were making a lot of money with the grass cut. And I asked him, I was just giving him checks, like, as a teenager, $1,000. And I asked him, I said, do you got a bank account? He said, no, because I ain't know I could get one. I was like, what? Oh boy, we got to come down here. I said, what you been doing with all this money you getting paid every week? I ain't know I could have one. So some people, I just knew he had one, but the way I saw phones showing up at the door, I said, wait, now I know we have all these phones. Do you got a bank account? And that's what he said, no. So that's all I'm just saying. I'm just telling you, I'm telling y'all that story, not to berate you, but some people just don't know. So that's it. Just work on it beforehand. All right, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Be blessed.